to John Cain Arena, a season-defining game here in Melbourne. It's the Collingwood Magpies up against the Giants Netball. It's round 9. They've both got 2 wins so far this season, and it's an opportunity, although slim, it's an opportunity to try and shake up what's happening. As you can see, Giants Netball being called out onto court. I'm Bianca Chapman, and joining me in comms is Caitlin Thwaites. Now let's take a look at the Woolworths team cards for the Giants. As we see, Jamie Lee Price there in the centre. Joe Harton is out, Amy Sliger is out, and coming into the team is Ange Friketic, who is a shooter. You might see her out there at some stage, and also Taylor Davies, former Giant, also an AFLW Giant. We've got 2 of those cross-coders out on court. Who's lining up for the Magpies, Katie?
The Magpies have started with their usual lineup here. Obviously, Kelsey Brown got a huge role to play in their mid-court. Ash Brazel and Jodie Ann Ward, Jiva Mentor, making up their defence line here with Jackie Newton, who has seen a little bit of court time in recent weeks, hasn't she, been?
She sure has, and a happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Thank you for joining us on your Sunday. We have 2 mums out there on court today, Ash Brazel and April Branley.
And both, all 3 kids are in the stands here today, which is great to see.
Jovic gets us started for the Magpies. This is a very important game for both teams. Brazel across to Brown. Magpies with a very patient start to the game.
And great to see that link looking long into that pocket to Jovic from Ash Brazel. The Giants getting right up in their face, shutting down that middle channel early.
Hay finds Price. It's a quick 1-2 with Dwyer.
A little bit of a hold up there on the entry. And Matisse Leatherborough getting herself into the action. Nice little dish off to Dwyer.
And an early held ball call against Sophie Dwyer. You can sense the nerves out there already.
Absolutely, but this play here is super important for the Magpies. Last week they had 5 games and they didn't score off any of them. So any of the game ball that the Magpies get, you would have to think that they've been focusing on that during the week.
Huge effort from the defenders to get the gains, which all the gains from the court generally come from Jiva Mentor and Jodie Ann Ward, which is quite the opposite when you look at the Giants in defence.
The Giants managed to pick up a lot of ball across kind of all of those 4 or 5 back positions. Obviously a kind of traditional wing defence heavy centre court for the Giants. Nice little dish off from Sophie Garvin there.
The Magpies, they're out by 3. Very early days in the first quarter.
It's the good start that they needed, didn't they? They really need to be making the most of any of the balls. We see Jamie Lee Price.
She almost pushed Matisse Leatherborough into the position she wanted her. Garvin. Wayward pass. Kelsey Brown was heading almost in the other direction. Branley quick to get the play underway. Amy Parmenter, keep an eye on that matchup with Kelsey Brown.
It's an exciting one, isn't it? The 2 of those very powerful, very involved players out there on court.
And very quick. Matisse Leatherborough on the scoreboard. Hay straight over the top. The connection between the mid-court and the shooters looks strong for the Giants.
Nice little dodge on that baseline from Matisse. You see a little pat on the back from Dwyer, getting herself settled into the pace of this game.
Garvin looks into Nelson. It's a penalty, and Nelson steps across, wants her own space.
And we saw last week Bianca Garvin really getting herself up there in terms of the goal assists, back to some of the numbers that we were seeing at the start of the season. So 20 goal assists last week from her. a really big ask, but I would like to see those same kind of numbers, and that's, I think, how Nelson is going to be able to have the biggest amount of impact.
Dwyer sets the penalty shot. A quick walk, it rims out, and the Magpies, they scoop up possession. Amy Parmenter was watching.
She read that well before anyone else out on court did.
You can't stand flat-footed and expect the ball to get to you out here in Suncorp Super Netball. Scores are now even. Look at the Harvey Norman replay. Brazel from wing defence straight, unfortunately, to the opposition wing defence.
Lovely build-up from the Giants, working that ball to circle edge to be able to pop it up in the air.
Price, one option on the centre pass. Kay, over to Parmenter.
Nice little triangle play from Jamie Lee Price, just swinging the ball to the side where the shooters were already there, so it opens up that ball side. Nice, simple entry for them.
Leatherbarrow, what a start, 5 from 5. In only her 3rd appearance on court for the Giants this season. Let's get across to our sideline reporter, Maddie Brown. What are you noticing over there?
Oh, look, I'm really interested to hear your take on the Magpies defence, B, because we spoke about it at the top about that one-on-one defence, but you can see that they have their backs to the sideline a lot off the centre pass, working in that box shape, trying to force the Giants into awkward positions. But for me, it's about the Giants' ball speed, just letting the ball go, which is trying to pull them apart and allow them a little bit more space to move in.
Well, if I do put my defensive hat on, Mads, you can't set up that box too early because it's so obvious what you're trying to do, and every attack end would know Speedy's going to break it down. So I think variety is the key for the Magpies in defence as they win some ball. Deflections already 3 to the Giants, but what can the Magpies do? Brown very high up the court.
I was going to say Kelsey Brown being drawn up quite high. Obviously, she loves the ball in her hands to be able to create things down that attack end. And a nice little link up from Garvin out of the circle.
Physical pressure from Jamie Lee Price, not enough to disrupt the Magpies as they go out by 1.
Ash Brazel trying to smother that pass there. Knew that Maddie Hay had her beaten on the run.
Hay looking for an option. Both Giant shooters, they're happy to both be there at the same time.
A little bit of confusion there in terms of which spaces both of them were going to be. You would think as they settle into this partnership out there that those little misunderstandings will get ironed out.
Jovic resets to Brazel. Nelson's got her hand up, but Moore quite cleverly is covering that front position.
It was a great little hedge from Lauren Moore there. She pretended like she was going out onto the goal attack. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman replay, but knew that she was going straight back and up to the ball that was going to get lifted to Nelson.
Just for comparison, Lauren Moore, 184 centimetres, up against Shimona Nelson, 195 centimetres. Big difference. Price to Leatherbarrow, cross to Hay.
Dwyer just wanting that ball in her hands. Maddie Hay looking for something better.
Just on the other side of the keeper.
And this is what we talked about a little bit in that pre-game, isn't it? Without Joe Harton out there, the other players around them are needing to, as we see Jiva Mentor just have a little look at the ball into the pocket. The other players out there needing to take on more of that responsibility of the playmaking role.
Look at the Harvey Norman replay. Mentor tries to swat it from behind. Step in from Nelson up the other end. Scores Towers are back within 1. What a season Amy Parmenter and Jamie Lee Price are having. And as we spoke about in the pre-game, Jodie Ann Ward, she started off the season on fire, leading the intercepts with 24 in the entire competition.
It was a great, we have seen Jodie Ann Ward come out as she just hunts again. We've seen her hunting quite a few of these balls, just her timing's off a little bit. Waiting for that game to come.
Garvin, great pass to Brown. That's the Magpies that started off the season so confidently.
And Kelsey Brown is so strong when she is attacking hard at that circle. It's really hard to beat. Nice placement from Maddie Hay, just over the top of Jodie Ann Ward. She gets a rebound though.
I get the feeling there was a hand in there on the shot. The Magpies through Brown. Hands over. Great defensive pressure from the Giants. And don't forget, we are just about to enter the Power 5. We've seen teams use the Power 5 quite smartly, especially in this round. Look at the missing net points so far. Jamie Lee Price sitting up the top on 33. She averages 91 missing net points a game this season.
She's sitting in that top 5 for the whole season. She's been really consistent across all games.
Easy one to Nelson. Much better hold. Cross to Parmenter. The Magpies' defensive structure starting to work, but it sneaks through.
A beautiful little fake there from Dwyer. Just looking like she was going to the pocket meant the defender shifted a metre off her player and opened up Leatherbarrow under the post.
Nelson, her 11th goal for the game. The only Magpie shooter on the scoreboard. Look at her shooting graph here. No surprises. She can shoot anywhere. Price. Struggling to get it to Dwyer. The work from Jodie Ann Ward, the footwork, I should say, from Jodie Ann Ward, causing some doubt in the minds of the Giants feeders. But absolutely no doubt there between Hay and Leatherbarrow.
We can see that obviously these two Giants shooters are still very, as we look at Matisse's numbers there. So the Magpies defenders are not able to just pick one to man up on Sophie Garvin with a big 2-point shot for her first time hitting the scoreboard today.
Price flies down the court. Impressive start from this goal shooter, but it is a held ball. The Magpies' pressure is building. You can see in the background, Coach Richardson is in the coach's box.
Huge pressure defensively from the Giants here, almost setting up a little bit of a zone or a heavy marking in that centre third, and the Magpies, just as they manage to get it down the court, there's a big one-on-one in the circle.
Let's get across to Maddie.
For me, it's on the centre pass for the Magpies. Sophie Garvin's receiving a lot of the first phase, Brown a lot more second. It's a switch of roles there. So Brown's getting it a lot closer to the circle edge and being able to feed Nelson, which is on a really strong hold. Unfortunately for Lauren Moore, she's moving her feet but not being able to get much take on the ball at all.
You really get the feeling the Magpies have done their homework on the Giants.
Another one there that just from that box structure, the swing ball, Jiva Mentor making herself a pain out there.
Mentor, as Hay just hits the deck. We'll keep an eye on her. She looks okay. Brown. partnership between Jovic and Brown. We haven't even spoken about that yet, but they certainly help each other out there on court, even though the stats don't necessarily reflect it.
And for me, Jovic was back up there in some of the best on court last week for the Magpies. She did manage to get herself much more involved in the feeds for the Magpies and the goal assists last week. So
the Giants working it around, trying to penetrate the circle. Dwyer has to step up. Across to Price. Hay finds Leatherbarrow. This is for one.
Interesting, the feeders there almost making the decision for the shooters. They didn't want to pass it into the 1 point range.
Talk me through that. Who usually would be the one setting what's happening?
Well, I think most of the time you would think that it's up to the shooters whether they're feeling it or not, but in that instance, the shooters not wanting to pass it to the 1 point who was on, so it might be a little bit of that confusion as to who's running the show down here in the absence of Joe Harton.
Well, Matisse Leatherbarrow leaves no confusion out there on court. Suncorp super shot to her. It's only one goal the difference here at John Cain Arena. The Magpies leading by one.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena. Welcome back to John Cain Arena. I'm here with a very famous mum of netball. It is Brooke Brazel here. She's got two beautiful kids here. You're supporting your wife, Ash, out there. How important is it for her to play on a day like today?
It's really important, and it's gorgeous having the kids right on the sidelines, but I'm just trying to contain them at the moment.
You're doing a very good job, Brooke. And you talk about the Magpie season. It's pretty much do or die for them today. At the end of the season, she's giving netball away. Are you hoping to have some time just for the two of you and the family of four again?
That'll be nice, but I'm just cherishing every minute at the moment, and the season's still within reach.
So who are we going for today, Louis? Have you got a pick? Who do you go for? Magpies by 4, I think that's what he's going for. So all the best for the rest of the game.
Great work, Maddie. Thanks for that Origin Energy quarter-time break. We actually heard a little bit of Nicole Richardson talking to the defenders, really happy with the structures that they were putting out there, but she wants them to attack the ball that is coming to them in front of them, not necessarily contesting the one that they need to go back for. So let's have a look and see if they can execute that in this second quarter.
One goal, the difference. The Magpies leading the way. Dwyer quickly gives it to Leatherbarrow under the post. No changes out on court for either side. Brazel finds Garvin on the sideline, straight up to Nelson.
And a nice quick sight and release there. It makes it much harder for the defenders to be able to get themselves into position if that quick turn and look is happening right under their nose.
Coach Richardson will be loving the 100% shooting statistics for the Magpies. Leatherbarrow, impressive start for the youngster.
She has been doing really well out there on court, as we've come to expect, though, in the recent times that we've seen her out on court. It's great to see that the others are finding her and finding that avenue into goal really nicely.
More deflects, pick up from Brownlee.
The Magpies doing a great job just holding them up on this defensive transverse line, almost all in a line there. So find a nice long release pass.
Break it open through Hay. A nice patient play from the Giants. They seem like they had all the time in the world. Not so much here on the centre pass. Hard to find an option. Jodie-Ann Ward, she smothered the only one they had.
It was really interesting. It was a clear setup from the Giants to have both of their shooters start back in the circle, but that created so much distance between the Giants' first and second phase, and that is exactly the ball that we saw Jodie Ann Ward come through on the Harvey Norman replay.
No surprises while she is leading the intercept stats, but look at the gains here. 6 for the Magpies, 3 for the Giants. Early days, though, still in the game.
Just that little misunderstanding of the timing there between the release and when Kelsey Brown was moving on to that ball.
Parmenta. Dwyer on her own.
In the mid-quarters, a little bit of interplay and the connection with Dwyer and Leatherborough, just creating that extra point of the triangle.
They found the opportunity with Mentor's eyes down, but the Magpies, their counter-attack through Nelson. The Magpies extend their lead just by 1. Hay across to Leatherborough, back out to Price as the Giants steady for the shot.
Nice little step back from Dwyer there. Still almost moving on the follow-through of that shot away from the hands. So we see the Giants' shooting stats just up on your screen.
The Magpies' goal attack pulled for contact. So Garvin will stand out. Penalty stat on your screen. The Magpies already at 18. They are the highest in the competition. They average 61 penalties a game, whereas the Giants, they're the second lowest for penalties.
Jamie Lee Price almost got herself an intercept stat.
Many players out on court vying for a position in that World Cup team. Not just the Australian Diamonds, of course, the Jamaican team and the English team.
Plenty on the line to be sticking their hand up and putting out some good performances.
Brown. Easy one to Garvin, back to Brown. The Magpies, they're out by 1.
Beautiful drive from Maddie Hay, straight up the middle. Just breaking open the Magpies' defence here.
Dwyer, cross, circle, finds Hay, straight to Leatherborough. The more movement down in that attack end seems to be throwing off the Magpies in defence.
And the use of the fakes is what I like to see, Bianca. Obviously trying to trick those defenders where they might be throwing that ball, and the Magpies defenders just slightly moving, which opens up the shooter that they're wanting to find. Nice timed little offload from Garvin. We spoke about in the pre-game how important it is for Nelson to be getting some really big numbers. The 2 wins that the Magpies have had so far has been with Nelson shooting more than 50 goals. So a little bit of a stat for us to keep an eye on.
Brown grabs that centre pass somehow through 2 Giants. Jovic and Garvin across to Nelson. It was a push in the back, according to the umpire, and the Giants, another win for them.
Cheeky from Jeeba. Thought she'd get away with that one. A little bit late, though.
You've got to try anything, don't you, as a defender?
She was well and truly a long way from home, so potentially just allowing Jodie Ann Ward to get back to the post and cover her.
Price. Eventually, they find Leatherborough. 17 goals for Matisse Leatherborough. And it is a HCF tactical timeout. The Magpies have called it. And we're going to take a listen into Nicole Richardson. Hear what she's been making of the Magpies so far in this game. They're down by 1.
Maybe
maybe look to start back and give yourself a little bit more room. Give Kelsey the line, but then we need a back option. Rosie, we need a back option if you're sitting back. Then vary it up if we can, because April at the moment is starting to double here on you. Can we look to keep April out higher for longer by maybe getting you on first phase and then connecting yourself to second phase? So just have that thought process. What do we want to try and create? If they're doubling on shimmy, yeah, rather than swing it, refeed same side, shuffle shot yourself in. If they don't come to, if they don't come off shimmy, you're playing yourself in. Fission up. If they draw off, we're looking for shimmy in the backspace. Okay, let's go. Well done. Good, yeah?
Well, there you have it. The Magpies ready for action. What did you make of Nicole Richardson and what she had to say?
Well, a little bit interesting there, because I think what she was trying to get April Brandley out of the circle to isolate a one-on-one with Nelson, but she, at the very start there, asked for Kelsey Brown to be up on the line. So maybe Garvin on second phase, she's wanting to have driving up the court to bring April Brandley further away from that post.
Let's get across to Maddie Brown, who was listening into the Giants.
Look, they spoke about, obviously, in their attack, and we mentioned about the ball speed. It's kind of died off a little bit. So you can see even in this attacking play, there's a lot more movement, there's a lot more effort, a bit more prelim, and that confidence to just let the ball go. They need a bit more movement in that circle. They're using the backspace a lot, but having that variety. In defence, watch that split circle for the Giants on the Magpies attack, then working those sides and trying to force them wide to try and have the ball elevated, and so they can have a bit of a crack at those intercepts.
Lots coming from the Giants coach, Julie Fitzgerald. Thanks, Maddie. Oh, as the Magpies cough it up. And the Giants, look at them, so much speed.
Getting held up here, and both of the mid-quarters in either of the pockets. Having to swing really wide to open that up.
Sophie Dwyer, that's 3 from 4.
You can see, Matisse Leatherbury driving out of the circle there. Jodie Ann Ward completely onto that second phase, though, from Dwyer.
Ward with a second intercept so far. It's just the speed for me with Ward. Lightning fast out here on court.
Ward, 6 games to her name already. Super impressive.
That is huge, considering the Magpies had 5 just last week for the entire game.
Really impressive, but again, it comes down to their conversion of that. So needing to hit the scoreboard with all of these opportunities.
2 goals, the difference. The Giants leading now only by 1. We said this was going to be a close contest at the start, and it's certainly delivering. Both teams, Ash Brazel behind the back just flicks it out of the air. What a superstar. Look at the Harvey Norman replay here. She just jumps up, a bit of a Hail Mary. Let's just have a swing.
April Brandley coming up with the turnover down the other end. Big cross-court ball trying to open up the other channel.
Dwyer across to Hay. Really slowed down as the Giants enter attack.
Maddie, I might come over to you on this. We've seen the last couple of plays where the Giants attackers the mid-quarters both end up in the pockets.
Yeah, I think you're right, Katie. It would be great to see them having that one top, one side, using those triangles, those swing balls, getting the movement of the ball going to get the defenders' heads turning, rather than expecting that it's just going to hold and pop open. So a little bit more change on those tempos, but it'll be interesting to see what the coaches say.
Well, it is a HCF tactical timeout. Maddie, we're going to send you into the Magpies huddle as we listen into the Giants.
Forward and we can take that short one coming here. We're very patient with the ball in the centre third, and we lose patience when we get into this third. So let's make sure we keep working it around there, all right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because Matt will get the ball here, and the only option you've really got is off the ball. We want you to be able to bring that closer, all right? I reckon just that half angle so that you're April, be careful of letting Sophie have that little in and out while you're back here looking after her own chocolate, okay?
Let's go. Let's just be a bit smarter. Use our feet, and then we give it. If we have possession, we keep it. Yeah. Let's go. Giants on 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's go.
As the Giants head back out onto court, look at our Nissan Net Points leaders. Jamie Lee Price on your screen right now, the centre for the Giants. Hasn't she had an incredible Suncorp Super Netball season? Jovic. A quick one to Garvin. It gets reset. And as we talk about Jamie Lee Price, she flicks that one out the way.
Nice little, again, the quick turn, but isn't it interesting? We heard Nicole Richardson earlier encourage Garvin to do that shuffle shot in, and Julie Fitzgerald has picked that up immediately and asked April Branley. Oh, nearly right on that.
The Giants, we are in the Power 5, so don't forget, every Suncorp Super Shot. Suncorp, the principal partner of Netball Australia, are donating $100 for every super shot across the season. That goes to the Confident Girls Foundation. Brown, Garvin under all sorts of pressure from April Brownlee. But Nelson is really winning it in the air.
She really did, but that was exactly what Nicole Richardson was asking of Sophie Garvin. Try to get April Branley higher up, away from the circle edge to isolate that one-on-one. Great to see that that's being executed out there.
Scores are even. The Magpies back out by 1. I get the feeling they're going to be like this all game, Katie. Price just really calmly and casually looks for someone to take the centre pass off her. Hey, to Price.
Better positioning from the mid-quarters and a beautiful timed release from Maddie Hay to find Matisse at the back there.
Jovic sitting on 32.5 Nissan Net Points. Her partnership with Kelsey Brown. It is often the engine room of the Magpies.
Nelson, wonder if they're trying to set up for a 2 here, or just that was a little bit longer range than she would like to take.
Garvin. Handy rebounder in Shimona Nelson. Sitting 4th on the offensive rebounds list.
Giants being forced to go back again, but finding Jamie Lee Price really nicely.
Well kept in by Leatherbarrow. She did that under all the Magpies' pressure.
And eventually finding that cut to the post.
You spoke about in the pre-game, Katie, the movement that you thought Leatherbarrow could do to try and keep Mentor occupied. How do you think that's working out?
Well, I think she's probably a little bit more stationary than I would like to see. I think both of the Giants shooters have got that ability to really get on the move. So we see another turnover here for the Giants. Really get on the move and start confusing the space in this little box here. I would like to see that drive straight up the middle from the shooter, and the other shooter then entering into the circle to replace. Cuts open that box really nicely.
Leatherbarrow on her own for an easy one under the post. That's her 21st for the game. Competing with Nelson for the volume of goals as Dwyer rips one through to Price. Nowhere to go though here. Having to go back. Both shooters not really an option. That was very, very close to 3 seconds.
Surely there's nothing worse as a mid-quarter is having a beautiful drive, hitting that circle and then not being able to find your shooters.
Well, Brown certainly found Nelson. more just getting stuck behind the body, but it was a great hold. The Giants have to go back to go forwards. Price to Dwyer. Cuts out all the mess.
We'd like to see a bit more of the cuts and drives from the Giants here. They're quite stationary, just trying to almost chip away and inch their way forward, but for the ball carrier to release the ball and go somewhere, go hard and open up some space in that attack end.
And a Suncorp super shot for Sophie Dwyer. And Amy Parmenter wants to give them another opportunity. The Giants, they lead by 3. We've got 5 seconds on the clock. Oh, and Jovic. That was great positioning from the Magpies mid-quarter, but the Giants, they run out of time. It's a 3-goal lead to Giants netball. What a contest that we have had in this first half, Katie. We knew it was going to be a close one. We knew both teams really wanted to fight. As we just wait for Maddie Brown. And let's cross down to Maddie Brown, who's with Jodie Ann Ward.
I do. I'm down here with Jodie Ann Ward. Now, Jodes, you're obviously down by 3, but you've been getting a lot of hand-on ball. Is that something you've been working on during the week? Because it's been a little bit quiet maybe the last couple of rounds?
Yeah, defensively as a unit, we've been a bit quiet for the last 2 or 3 rounds. So we wanted to go out there from the first center pass, like set that intensity and set the tone. Yeah.
You're doing really well, and you're containing him in that last 5 minutes in the super shot. You know they can come home strong. What type of strategy are you going to implement in the second half to just really contain that 5 minutes?
Well, obviously Giants have 2 Ranger shooters in there, so we just have to do our best to stay one-on-one, double jump, sort of mix it up over the shot every now and then to just see what they do.
And you've probably spoken about as a team how season-defining this game is. Do you feel that pressure? Is it more a mental edge or a physical thing that it's going to get you through to get the win this game?
This is obviously a very important game for a season to stay alive. We're not really thinking about that heading into the game. We just want to stick to our structures and just execute our game plan.
Well, you've been having 7 games already in the half, so I can't wait to see what you do this second 30 minutes.
Thanks, man.
Well, it is a 3-goal lead to the Giants. And we have a big halftime show coming up after the break. But we wanted to wish all the mums out there a very happy Mother's Day. We spoke to some of our amazing mums in the game about what being a mum means to them. Here is a sneak peek, but check out the full piece on Pivot, which is coming up straight after today's game.
Being a mum, the number one word that comes to me is just emotional.
Crazy. No, it's the best. It's just like a lot, and I wouldn't want it any other way. That's what makes it so special.
What's been great is netball have been a massive support to be a parent and to be able to be an athlete. So my family come with me a lot of the time. The fact that he gets to see strong women doing these amazing things, I really hope that he can grow up and just see women as athletes rather than female athletes.
He's just like our little team mascot that comes around with us, and for me it's really important to have him around and share the journey with him.
Welcome back to Fox Netball. Great to have your company here at John Cain Arena. It's the Magpies and the Giants. The Giants leading the way by 3 in this first half. Really, it's been closely contested. It's only been at the very end the Giants have got out. I'm Bianca Chapter, and joining me in commentary is Caitlin Thwaites. What did you make of that first half, Katie?
A bit of a going tit for tat there for a while, weren't they? We've seen just the Giants take a slight little lead on the board, but quite a few turnovers throughout this game, and obviously that gains from the turnover has been the really big point that has meant that the Giants are ahead at half-time.
Well, as we get underway for this third quarter, let's get across to the Giants coach, Julie Fitzgerald. Julie, thanks for joining us. What did you make of that first half?
Well, I think you nailed it. There's just a few too many simple errors. I thought we steadied a little bit towards the end of the second quarter, but we certainly need to keep that going.
And you've obviously missing your captain out there. How have you seen Matisse Leatherbarrow fill those big shoes?
They are big shoes to fill, and I think she's a little bit nervous to start with, but I was pleased with how she's starting to work her way into the game now.
And we identified that probably your attack end has been a little bit stagnant at times. What's been your instruction to them?
I agree. I think we need a little bit more movement down there, and we're more than capable of providing that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Julie. We'll let you get back to enjoying the second half. As Jamie Lee Price gets us back into the action. We spoke about during that halftime show just of the movement and wanting more urgency on that ball for the Giants. You certainly can feel a bit of a lift in intensity across the whole court.
You definitely can. Both of these sides really probably just been reminded of how important this win is to both sides at halftime. Wanting to stamp their authority in the second half immediately.
Brown out quickly for the centre pass. Over the top to Garvin, over the top to Nelson. That just looked like a training play that they would probably practice many, many times. Goals from centre pass, even for both teams. This is how closely matched these two sides are across so many of the stats, but also both with 2 wins for the season, wanting their 3rd today.
Magpies attack here. Kelsey Brown just pointing behind, wanting to go back on that centre pass. Jovic finding some nice real estate at the top of the circle.
Hey, behind play, pointing to go back. She ends up having to come forward. Leatherbarrow keeps it in. Jovic all over it. Brazel. Look at the Harvey Norman replay there. Leatherbarrow did all she could. There was not enough Giants backing her up.
Maddie Hay just gets an intercept to her name as well.
Price is nearly taken down by Mentor. This time that one. But Dwyer, she sinks it.
A big ask to go up and over Maddie Hay there, but obviously that's a strength of Ash Brazel's as well. So April Brandley trying to get her hands in and have an impact.
Out of all the mid-courts across the competition, the Giants, very defensive, and it often works in their favour. Nelson. What did you say Nelson needs for a Magpies win? Is it over 50?
Over 50, yes. Over 50 for Nelson. But obviously that's the availability of her supplying an option to the mid-quarters as well. So partly it's the impact that she has, but also how often they can get the ball to circle edge to her.
Contact call against Ward. You can see the penalties for the Magpies. They're just creeping up. 36 for the Magpies.
Yeah.
29 contact calls, but they win it. Defensively, hey, deflection. Not enough to keep control. Brown, you can see, trying to use her speed to advantage. And the mismatch of height between Moore and Nelson. No more obvious than in that play. Very hard for Moore to get up and to contest the ball on the body. Too much on it from Joe. Let's go across to Maddie.
The Magpies attack just looks like it's lifted up a notch. The atmosphere here in the stadium has been quite dull, but you can see as they start to pick up their energy, so does the crowd. A great feed from Brown into Nelson. It is that hold for me, Katie. For the Giants in attack, I saw Coach Julie Fitzgerald come up into the box and spoke about get to the middle for Matisse Leatherbarrow. Oh, Jodie Ford comes across, but no backup. I'm going to throw it to you because we've been seeing Falcons intercepts. It's all happening. It's too much for me. Replay, Harvey Norman replay on that one, please.
Let's take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. A deflection for Ward. Puts it back into Brantley, straight into Price's face. I think Price is still recovering as she tries to move back into the centre.
Good to see a little giggle happening with the two of them.
Having a laugh with her midi teammate in Amy Parmenter. But scores are even here at John Cain Arena.
Nelson leading that scoreboard there, 31 already.
Smart play from Sophie Garvin, pulling a defender onto her, allowing the one-on-one in the circle. The Magpies, look at that, the last 5 goals their way.
Sophie Dwyer just trying to do that little shuffle shot, get herself a little bit closer.
She holds it, she sinks it.
Has been a little bit quiet on the scoreboard so far, only 5 from 6 in the 1-point zone.
You get the feeling that that's just getting used to this new combination out there. She's so used to having the experienced campaigner in her captain, Jo Harton.
Absolutely, and the way that Harton usually sets up Dwyer, she brings her into the game, and that's obviously a little bit different having Leatherborough out there. Dwyer playing a bit more of that feeder role for Matisse.
Lauren Moore, 4 deflections so far.
A beautifully weighted pass from Branley. Jovic had a little bit of a fly and changed the space that was available there.
Leatherbarrow back out to Hay, tries to reposition. And it's Dwyer that gets to take the penalty. Jamie Lee Price, so casually in the centre. She looks like she's got all the time in the world.
She does. Just replaying it back there. This is where I would love to see the cuts and drives, someone going hard, taking a player with them.
Mentor, right position, couldn't get 2 hands. And Leatherbarrow makes her pay. As we look at our Nissan net points, Jamie Lee Price leading at 93. She's averaging 91 across every game this season. And Jodie Ann Ward on 66. Still, Katie, 1 goal the difference. It's chopping, it's changing.
Kind of just want one of the teams to take this game by the scruff of the neck, don't you? It's
Price has to go all the way back to Parmenter. Dwyer balks once.
Kelsey Brown just busting over that line. Nice deep second phase to Garvin and a nice easy 3 balls to shot for the Magpies.
33 goals at 100% for Nelson. Magpies will be very happy with her performance out there. The Giants, all the orange on the sideline.
The Magpies doing a good job of hedging that space, defending those 2 channels, the middle channel and that ball side channel.
Forcing the pressure. Leatherbarrow all twisted under the post, but it doesn't matter. She extends the Giants' lead by 2. Just over 5.5 minutes to play in the 3rd. Brazel, the mum of 2 out on court, tries to calm her team. Garvin, 1-2 with Jovic. Strong play from Sophie Garvin.
I think Sophie Garvin's really stepped up in terms of her timing of entry. That's been great to allow that one-on-one in there for Nelson, but also she's managing to find the scoreboard a little bit more at the moment too. So having that closer attack on the circle, really beneficial for the Magpies in this last bit. We see again Kelsey first
play. What damage can both teams do? Nelson out to Brown. 2 options up and over the top for the Magpies.
Ball squished into that tiny little space. The Giants defenders did a pretty good job there.
That's 2 in a row for Sophie Garvin. Price to Parmenter.
Better movement from Maddie Hay and awesome depth. We see Parmenter connect with Maddie Hay and being able to access the circle straight from that depth pass.
Let's get across to Maddie.
Look, we haven't seen any changes from either of these teams. They usually stay with their starting 7. Katie, you talk about a team taking the game by the scruff of the neck right now. It would be great to see maybe an injection of a Matilda McDonald, someone who can maybe spice up, get some handled ball. And maybe for the Magpies, now's the time to go for the game and to have a crack at the 2-point shot with Thinkerton and then maybe work the ones back in the 4th quarter. You do not want to leave it to the end. Have a crack now and retain it back in the 4th quarter if need be.
We've said it many times, this game counts to keep the season alive for one of these sides. It is a slim chance, really, but it is something that you want to play for.
You just want to get that momentum, that winning feeling back, building the confidence within your side.
Both teams finalists in season 2022. The Magpies finishing 4th. And, of course, the Giants ending up in the prelim, losing to the Vixens by 1. Brown. Nelson. Just all the attention taken away from Shimona Nelson. Look at that, 36 from 36. 13 more, 14 more. Katie, until she gets over that 50 mark. Let me do my maths. Leatherbarrow. Comes up short.
It's a pass. You can hear from the umpire there calling. She can't take the shot off that penalty there. So the Giants just needing to...
Sophie Dwyer makes the most of it. Suncorp, super shot. They called it a short pass. Jovic to Nelson for 2. Thank you very much, Shimona Nelson. What an impressive play. It's now the Giants by 2. 1 minute 40 to play in the 3rd. Plenty of time for both teams.
You get the feeling that Nicole Richardson can sense that this is the moment that they need to really step up. She's up on the sidelines, asking her charges to step up here. She knows how important this is.
Sophie Dwyer, we know the power 5 is when she's at her very best. 3 from 3 so far. And of course, last week, we know the Giants 5 from 20 attempts at the super shot. Mentor to Brazel. The Magpies, they're really taking their time, potentially starving the Giants of opportunities. Garvin comes up short. The Giants, they want to move down quickly.
Big rebound from the Giants here. They're actually sitting 8th in the league for their defensive rebounds, so it's a really important one for them to work down the court.
6 rebounds to the Magpies, 1 to the Giants. What can they do? Dwyer over to Leatherbarrow for the 1. They don't want to take the 2. The Giants, they're leading this quarter by 1, and they've taken their lead out by 5.
Another set play here from the Giants. Both of their shooters starting all the way back in that circle.
Leatherbarrow, can she sink it? It's a penalty, she'll get another shot. Jodie Ann Ward seems confused, but Leatherbarrow, what a performance from Matisse Leatherbarrow. Suncorp, super shot to finish off the 3rd quarter. And it's the Giants leading the Magpies by 7.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena, where the Giants are leading the Magpies by 7. I was just listening into the Giants huddle. Coach Julie Fitz was talking about in attack, it's just going to take really hard work. And then we saw Joe Harton get to those goals and talk about setting up some screens, creating some space, but just getting in there and owning that circle. In defence, the defenders were talking about making sure they gain some ball and try and force those attackers wide to try and generate some extra intercepts and then converting that on the scoreboard. What about you, Katie? What was happening in the Magpies camp?
Well, in the Origin Energy quarter-time break for the Magpies, Richardson was again talking about these defensive structures. She's wanting the defenders out the front to play a little bit more of that one-on-one type defense. She wants them to shut down what's happening out in front, possibly forcing the Giants attackers into those pockets for Jiva to come and have a fly at the back. So let's have a look and see if they can set some of those up.
How important is this game, Katie? We talk about season defining. We know it's a slim chance for both teams to make the finals. But for the Magpies, they're down by 7. What do they need to do to try and secure the win, to at least show some confidence in the back end of the season?
I think that they really need to have this, you know, the dominance across this transverse line. The first and second phase, go back to what was working in the first quarter. Kelsey Brown on that second phase, that really close connection to Nelson, I think was a way that they were really able to open up this game. So would love to see Kelsey Brown getting closer to that circle edge.
And for the Giants, they would be happy with what they've been putting out there. They went down by 1 in the first, but they have dominated that second and third quarter.
A little slip from Nelson there. Lucky that they didn't manage to cough up the ball, though.
She's looking a bit ginger on that ankle. As we have a look at the Harvey Norman replay, you see her trying. Oh, it's like she slipped and twisted her knee. We'll keep an eye on her behind play as Brazel gets her hand in the air.
A good little contest, but that's exactly what the strategy that they were talking about, shutting down that front, trying to force them a little bit deeper. Mentor again with that little swipe from behind.
Attempts the block from behind. They're not often that successful, but they're worth a go.
Sometimes just about letting the shooter know you're there though, right there.
Dwyer tries to put it straight to Price on the move. Mentor picks up the scraps. The Magpies through Jovic. You can see a sea of orange. The defensive pressure from the Giants has really come a long way this game.
And again, a lot of that just lateral movement from the Magpies. Not a lot of up and down the court. Just seeing that the Giants have scored those last 4 in a row.
Isolating that one-on-one between Moore and Nelson. Just to recap the height difference, 195 centimetres Shimona Nelson, the Magpie shooter, and 184 centimetres Lauren Moore. But look how high she can get in the air.
This one going through the hands. But a very long ball forced in from Kelsey over the transverse line.
You can see the elevation on the Harvey Norman replay. Moore, for the last few weeks, has been playing at goalkeeper for the Giants, and it has really changed what they've done, the energy out there. But McDonald, as we said before, is sitting on the bench. Will we see her enter the game? 8 goals, the difference. The Giants, they are steaming ahead. Price. Dwyer, the physical pressure from Ward, making it work very hard. There's Matilda McDonald. Dwyer. Doesn't matter if it's worth 2 or 1. She doesn't mind. She's happy to shoot the long shots.
Lifted ball for that second phase into Garvin. Brandley, we haven't spoken a lot about her, B, but she has done a lot of work of contesting that first ball, riding her opponent, making sure that she's out there putting pressure on.
And another one of our mums out there on court. Her son Clay has made the trip to Melbourne with her for Mother's Day.
Getting myself a touch here.
Wow. Jamie Lee Price telling you to hurry up. No, she wasn't really. And again, that physical pressure from the Magpies. Dwyer just thought, I'm going to give you a little shove on my way back in. The contact calls are creeping up for the Magpies as Dwyer sinks her ninth for the game. That's ninth ones. But when we look at the Suncorp super shot, she's got 3. Brazel to Brown.
Here's that first ball contest from Brandley. Just a little too heavy on the contact there. But she's forcing Garvin to do a lot of work outside the circle.
Let's get across to Maddie Brown.
I just wanted to draw attention to the contacts for both teams. So Magpies sitting at 42, Giants 28. So to get in this game, they need to be a lot more disciplined. It's about that footwork, moving around. See a little bit of push and shove there. But it's just about staying in the play to try and generate and create that pressure. If they're not in play and they're out, they're not going to get their hand on the ball. We also see Matty Hinchcliffe warming up on the sideline and even Jackie Newton up before. So it might be a time for the Magpies to inject some new defensive legs in there to try and get that ball.
Make sure you keep an eye on that as we do see Matty Hinchcliffe in the background. She's got the wing defence bib on. Brazel getting frustrated out there. Oh, but she steals that away right on cue. You're welcome, Ash Brazel. The commentator's curse. A little thumbs up behind play between Mentor and Brazel. You can tell they want this. They want to get back in this game. They're down by 1 in this quarter. Nelson. Seven goals, the difference. The Giants, they've really had so much of it their way in this second half. Brown to Joby, straight up to Nelson.
I would really like to see the Magpies just using the depth a little bit more of the court. I feel like they're running a lot of lateral lines and the penetration down the court is a little lackluster for my liking. As we see, there we go, another one. Braz is just like, you want some depth? I'll give it to you.
I'll give you that. All right, what else can we say to help out the Magpies? It's 5 goals the difference. You can see Jamie Lee Price and the Giants screaming to the umpires. They want a HCF tactical timeout. They want to hold the momentum of the Magpies. They can feel the change. They can feel the momentum shift. Let's take a listen in to Julie Fitzgerald, the Giants coach.
No, I just think they're getting a little bit of a run on now to circle each a little bit too easily. We need to be able to hold that up and push that up a little bit more. And none of these sideway ones get a little bit depth so you can come forward to the ball, all right? And you give her a little bit of room to play in the circle when the ball gets to the edge, all right? But other than that, you're right, all right? You're doing well. Remember that post? Remember not to get too far apart.
I'm going to do a few now where Echo's getting contacted. She's going to still push her there, but I'm going to come out and have a crack at that.
That's all right, I'm happy with that. Let's just make sure we have pressure on everyone giving them the ball, right?
I like that.
Pressure on everyone giving the ball. Pressure on everyone giving the ball.
But if we do turn over the ball, we need to get back into defence way quicker. Yeah.
Okay, guys, take a deep breath. Remember that thing that's going to bring you back into this. We're still okay, all right? We're still okay.
Well, you hear what the Giants want to do for the final minutes of this last quarter. Let's go across to Maddie Brown.
Look, there was a lot of talk even to Kelly Singleton, and I thought she might come into play, but they said, let's just see how we go for the next couple of minutes, and then we might force her into play. But we need to get the ball moving. We need to generate that intensity in attack and get the scoreboard ticking over so we're not leaving it right to the very end. In defence, they spoke about being tighter, really making their players work for it, and then coming off that last second to fly. So expect a little bit more tighter in defence for the Magpies and a little bit more urgency in attack.
Will this be another game decided by a Suncorp super shot? We saw it last night with the Fever and the Swifts. The Swifts getting up by 1, and then just before this game, a 1-goal win to the Vixens.
Really nice double jump over the shot there, just delaying the release of the Giants shooting. That positioning, Lauren Moore, she's in great position to be able to contest that ever so close.
And she's trying her heart out, isn't she, to get up to those balls. She's so close on so many occasions. But credit to Nelson, her strong take in the air has been something Nicole Richardson, their coach, has been working on with her.
Okay, Magpies sitting off the body here, floating in that space, taking up all of those 2 channels.
Keep an eye on Jodie Ann Ward. This is when she comes into her element.
Absolutely sitting off, ready to have a fly at anything that's going to go a little bit longer. And the Giants being really patient with this build-up.
Patient and smart play from the Giants. They take their lead out to 5.
Oh, so close. Fingernails on that one from Lauren Moore. But again, it was such a long pass in from Kelsey Brown. Jamie Lee Price on the leaderboard there.
111, followed by her teammate in Maddie Hay, and then it's all the Magpies, Ward, Nelson and Brown, rounding out the top 5. It's for Jamie Lee Price too. She gets so many miss and net points because of her defensive efforts too, and the really limited mistakes she makes in a game. Brazel trying to bring some energy to the attack. Garvin up the middle.
Oh, Amy Parmenter, she had her name all over that one if it wasn't for the contact penalty. So we have a look at the penalties there, 57 to 47.
A brave defensive effort from the Giants for someone like an Amy Parmenter to turn her back to the ball and just chase down the intercept. It didn't end up in their hands, but it's a HCF tactical timeout called by the Magpies. Let's take a listen into Coach Richardson. Will they be making any changes?
Yep, come off. Well done, those both. Good job. Okay. So defensively, let's sit really high in the ring. Let's deny it. I'd be playing more of a one-on-one. We don't want them to run clock down at this point in time. From an attacking perspective here, we're bringing Cal on, right? So shimmy, if they collapse and they smother Cal, you're getting into your 2-point shot range and being an option. If you feel comfortable, you get in under the post. 5 minutes is still a long time, okay? You could then refeed. Well, the other thing is when you get into 2-point shot, they might come and put hands over you as well. We don't know. You could then dish out. I need lots of voice from you on the outside for these guys in the ring, all right? If it's a long 2-point shot, you don't need to look to take it, and vary opening up your back space, not always the front space.
I feel, guys. We'll go pulling this up to 4. This is ours now.
Let's go, yeah.
Great, let's go. Everything you've got, 5 minutes.
As the Magpies enter back onto court, Kelly Singleton, she's out. You heard us, Nicole Richardson, say to Garvin, you're off. Kelly Singleton on. The pressure is on Kelly Singleton at goal attack.
Oh, Magpies first to that loose ball. They had 3 players absolutely dive on it.
Let's get across to Maddie quickly to get an insight into the Giants.
Well, the Giants will be happy to obviously get their hands back on the ball there, but they want to play to win. You see a lot of teams when they get to this sometimes seize up and stop going for the ball and attacking it. They want to continue to play, win obviously in defence, keep confusing the space, stay off the body but stay in play and keep generating some of that turnover ball for their attack to hopefully go gangbusters on the 2-point shot.
Whoa, let's see how they go. 4 goals the difference. Dwyer, she held on to it for a long time, but it is a Suncorp super shot to take their lead out by 6. Brazel in a contest in the air with Hay. She was calling for the contact, she didn't get it. Singleton, her first touch.
And you can see right there, the Giants defenders know exactly what they were trying to do. Kelly Singleton drew 2 defenders and Nelson stepping up for the 2-point shot.
This season especially, you can't leave the goal shooters alone in the Power 5. They are more than happy to take a Suncorp super shot.
Great to see Nelson stepping up in that aspect. She's obviously a really key rebounder for the Magpies, so if you take her off and you miss some of those shots, you want that second chance, so leaving her out there is important.
Dwyer, 5 from 6. Singleton goes long to Brown. The Magpies trying to move the ball quickly.
Big hands over from Jamie Lee Price, just stopping that feed from going in. And then offensive contact from Ashley Brazel. Magpies, where are they going to get this turnover? Threading the needle there to Jamie Lee Price.
And it's a contact call against Mentor. Leatherbarrow. A strong performance from Matisse Leatherbarrow to step into the shoes, as you said at halftime, of Joe Harton. 41 goals for Leatherbarrow. Price, bullet pass, pinpoint precision from Jamie Lee Price.
Just saw the eyes down from the defenders for a brief second and snuck it past their nose.
Very happy Joe Harton on the bench, still yelling out instructions to her team. Singleton. High, up and over, Brownlee.
And Jovic collecting the scraps there, super important.
And the Magpies still in possession. They want to, they play around with it.
You get the feeling from the Giants, this is more about just holding up and trying to run that clock down so that the Magpies don't have the opportunity. Rough call from Kelsey Brown there with a little push and putting the hands down in the circle.
8 goals the difference. The Giants seem very much in control. Price needs an option. Carmenta so good in the air.
I was going to say a little bit of that frustration coming out there from Kelsey Brown.
You look over at the Magpies bench and it seems like a very deflated coaching staff in Nicole Richardson and Kate Upton. Oh, Matisse Leatherbarrow.
Icing on the cake for
what a
her
performance. The pressure was on her at the start of this game. And we thought in Team Girls Cup that we might see her out there more this season. So far, only her 3rd game, but look at her, just really shining a light on how she can have a presence on Suncorp Super Netball. Sophie Garvin has played majority of this game. Hasn't had a huge impact on the scoreboard, but did do some nice work taking the defenders away.
Dwyer just takes a little look up at the clock.
Oh, 5 from 6 for Matisse Leatherbarrow for the Suncorp super shot. What a performance by the Giants. A huge win for them in a season-defining game. You can see the Magpies, they're going to really feel this defeat. But the Giants, they did step up. They made it count, and they took this game on. Let's take a look, Katie, at the match summary and really what did stand out between these two teams.
Well, obviously the gains there for the Magpies, sitting on 16 and 9 for the Giants. But again, coming back to that conversion rate, great job by the Giants. There we see the time in possession had a little bit more of the ball, and the contacts for the Magpies just creeping up there as well. So the miss and net points relatively similar there, but you've got a feeling that Jamie Lee Price had a fair bit to do with that, sitting on 120 miss and net points.